Emily and I had only been married for a few months when Vanessa, my sister-in-law, suddenly tried to re-enter our lives. At first, I thought she just wanted to reconnect. She sent me a friend request, which seemed odd considering she and Ryan barely spoke. Still, I didn't think much of it. Maybe she was trying to mend the family divide. Things started small. She would message me about Ryan, saying she was concerned that he had cut off their family. She made it seem like she was just looking out for her brother, that she wanted us all to be close. I wanted to believe her. After all, I came from a big, loving family. I couldn't understand why Ryan had distanced himself so much from his own. Then she started visiting while Ryan was at work. She'd drop by, bringing coffee or pastries, acting like a supportive sister-in-law. I didn't think much of it at first, though Ryan seemed uncomfortable whenever I mentioned her visits. Then came the strange request. "You know, Emily, since you work from home, I worry about you being alone all day," she said one afternoon. "What if something happened and Ryan wasn't around? It would be a lot safer if I had a copy of the house key just in case." Something about the way she asked sent a chill through me. I hesitated. "I appreciate the concern, Vanessa, but I don't think that's necessary. If anything happens, I can always call Ryan or emergency services." Her smile faltered, but only for a second. Then she laughed it off and changed the subject. Still, after that day, I started making excuses to keep her from coming over. Something just didn't sit right with me. Then one morning, I went to grab my keys before heading out to the grocery store, only to realize they weren't in their usual spot. Panic hit me immediately. I searched everywhere, but they were simply gone. My mind immediately went to Vanessa. I hated to think the worst of her, but her request for a key had been so out of place. I messaged her, asking if she had seen them. Her response was almost immediate. "Why would I have your keys? Are you accusing me of stealing?" Her defensiveness was alarming. I hadn't even accused her. I had just asked. I knew I had to do something. I remembered that in one of our earlier conversations, Vanessa had given me her address, inviting me for tea one day. I never went, but now I needed to. When I arrived, my heart pounded as I knocked on the door. A man answered, looking confused. "Hi, I'm looking for Vanessa," I said. His brow furrowed. "There's no one by that name living here." My stomach dropped. "Are you sure? This is the address she gave me." I pulled up a picture of her on my phone. He glanced at it and shook his head. "Never seen her before." "Sorry." I stumbled back to my car, my hands trembling. I texted Vanessa, asking for her address again. She sent me the same one. She was lying. But why? When I got home, Ryan immediately noticed something was off. "What's wrong?" he asked. I didn't know how to tell him, but I had to. I spilled everything. Vanessa's visits, her request for a key, my missing keys, and the fake address. Ryan sat in silence, his jaw clenched. "I should have told you earlier," he finally said. "Vanessa has always been like this. Manipulative, selfish." He explained how their parents had always favored Vanessa, how she had stolen his college fund by convincing their parents she needed the money more, how she had always gotten away with everything while he was expected to fend for himself. "I went no contact because she doesn't just want to be in my life. She wants to control it," Ryan said, "and now she's trying to get to me through you." We changed the locks that night, but it didn't end there. A few days later, our elderly neighbor stopped me while I was bringing in the mail. "There was a woman outside your house the other day," she said. "Looked like she was trying to get in." My blood ran cold. I checked our security cameras. There she was, Vanessa, trying to use a key to unlock our front door. We called the police. They found her not long after, and when Ryan confronted her, she showed no remorse. "You should have just given me the key," she sneered. "I was going to move in anyway." She had been planning this all along. Ryan and I filed for a restraining order. I blocked her on everything. For a while I struggled with guilt. Had I been too naive? Should I have seen it coming? But in the end, I learned an important lesson. Family isn't about blood, it's about trust. Some people will take advantage of your kindness, no matter how much you want to believe in them sometimes. Cutting ties is the only way to protect yourself. Weeks passed after we filed the restraining order, but I couldn't shake the unease that settled in my chest. Every creak in the house made me flinch. Every shadow outside the window sent my heart racing. Ryan tried to reassure me that Vanessa was out of our lives for good, but deep down, I wasn't so sure. Then one evening, I came home to find an envelope slipped under our front door. My stomach twisted as I picked it up. There was no name, no return address, just my name scrawled in familiar, loopy handwriting. Vanessa's handwriting. I didn't open it. Instead, I walked straight to Ryan, who was in the kitchen. "She was here," I whispered, handing him the envelope. His face darkened as he took it. Carefully, he opened it and pulled out a letter. "You ruined everything, Emily. You think you're so much better than me, but you're just another girl who doesn't understand loyalty. I was trying to protect my brother from you. I was supposed to be part of his life, not you. You took everything from me, and you'll regret it. You can change the locks, but that won't stop me." I shivered as Ryan crumpled the letter in his fist. "That's it," he said. "We're getting cameras set up all around the house, and I'm calling the cops." We handed the letter over to the police, who added it to the growing file they had on Vanessa. They assured us that the restraining order was in effect, and that if she came near us again, she'd be arrested. But it didn't end there. A week later, my car tires were slashed. I found them in the morning when I was about to leave for work. The deep gashes were unmistakable. Someone had done this on purpose. I knew it was her. We filed another police report. They couldn't prove it was Vanessa, but we all knew the truth. That was when Ryan decided enough was enough. "We're moving," he announced one evening as we sat on the couch, exhausted from the stress of it all. I blinked. "What?" "I don't care if it's drastic," he said. "She won't stop, Emily. She's obsessed. The only way to get away from her is to disappear." I didn't want to uproot our lives because of Vanessa, but deep down, I knew Ryan was right. Within a month, we packed our belongings and moved to a different city. We didn't tell anyone, not even mutual friends, where we were going. We changed our phone numbers, deleted our social media, and did everything we could to erase any trace of our whereabouts. And for a while it worked. But then, one night, as I was scrolling through my new, private social media account, I saw it. A new follower request, no profile picture, no name, just a blank account. But the username made my blood turn to ice. "Still watching. You," I stared at the screen, my breath caught in my throat. Ryan found me moments later, frozen in place. "What's wrong?" he asked, concern etched across his face. I turned my phone toward him. His jaw clenched as he saw the username. "Block it," he said, "and don't look back." I did as he said, but the unease never left. Somewhere out there, Vanessa was still watching, waiting, and I had no idea when or if she'd ever stop. As time passed, I found myself wondering if Vanessa was truly beyond saving. Despite everything she had done, the lies, the manipulation, the attempt to invade our home, I couldn't ignore the fact that she was still Ryan's sister. Family, no matter how fractured, had a way of pulling at the heartstrings. Then one evening, something unexpected happened. A letter arrived. Not an email, not a text, an actual handwritten letter. It was from Vanessa. I hesitated before opening it, half expecting more accusations, more blame. But as I read, my heart softened just a little. She was in rehab. She admitted to struggling with addiction, something Ryan had suspected but never had proof of. She explained how she had fallen into debt, trying to maintain a lifestyle she couldn't afford. How she had convinced herself that stealing from us was justified because she believed she had been wronged. But most of all, she apologized. Sincerely. She didn't ask for money. She didn't ask to come back into our lives. She only asked for time. I showed Ryan the letter expecting anger, maybe even laughter. Instead, he just stared at it for a long time. Then for the first time in years, I saw something I never thought I'd see. Tears in his eyes. For weeks we talked. About forgiveness. About second chances. About whether some wounds could ever truly heal. Ryan wasn't ready to jump back into a relationship with Vanessa, but he also wasn't ready to shut the door completely. So we took it slow. We wrote back. Small letters at first. Cautious words. Setting boundaries. Vanessa kept her distance, proving she was serious about recovery. She sent updates, proof that she was working through her issues, facing the damage she had caused. And one day, months later, Ryan made the choice to meet her. Not alone, not without caution, but with hope. It wasn't easy. Trust wasn't rebuilt overnight, but little by little, piece by piece, something new began to form. Not the old toxic sibling dynamic, but something different, something honest, something real. As for me, I learned that sometimes the hardest thing isn't walking away. It's finding the courage to believe in change, to hope that even the most broken relationships can be repaired if both sides are willing to try. So what do you think? Have you ever given someone a second chance when they didn't deserve it? Did it work out, or did they prove you right? Let's talk about it.